Come, sit for just some seconds and think of this. You're at a casual get-together. Nothing fancy. Music in the background, people laughing, and then you feel it, that subtle pull that makes you look up for no logical reason. Across the room, she's already looking at you, not staring, just noticing. The moment your eyes meet, she quickly looks away and starts talking to her friend like her life depends on it. And right there, your heart drops a little. You tell yourself, okay, she's definitely not interested. So you pull back, you keep your distance, you don't want to misread things, you don't want to embarrass yourself. But what if I told you, you just missed one of the clearest signs she is interested? I've seen this exact moment play out so many times, and I've watched good men talk themselves out of real connections, not because they lacked confidence, but because no one ever taught them how to read behavior instead of assumptions. That confusion you feel, that mental tug-of-war of, is she into me or am I imagining things? It's exhausting. It makes you second-guess yourself, and eventually it teaches you to hesitate when you should be grounded. Today, we're flipping that script. We're not talking about pickup lines. We're not talking about what women say. We're decoding what women do, especially when they're trying to stay composed, guarded, or subtle about their interest. Because here's the truth most men never hear. Attraction doesn't always announce itself boldly. Sometimes it shows up sideways, quietly, in behaviors that only make sense once you know what to look for. By the end of this video, you're going to see these signs with crystal clarity. You'll stop guessing, you'll stop overthinking, and more importantly, you'll know exactly how to respond with calm, grounded confidence instead of hesitation. Today, I'm walking you through 5 powerful behavioral clues. The glance she thinks you didn't notice, the way she keeps conversations alive without chasing her unconscious need to stay physically close, the subtle touch most men overlook, and the one sign that's not even about her, but about the people around her. These aren't theories, these are patterns, and once you see them, you can't unsee them. Let's start with what happens after that first glance, because what she does next tells you far more than eye contact ever could. 1. The glance and dart. Why she looks, then looks away. Let me paint a familiar picture. You're standing there, maybe at a get-together, maybe at work, maybe just somewhere casual. You feel it before you see it, that slight awareness. You look up, and she's already looking at you. For half a second, there's eye contact. Then suddenly, she looks away, fast, almost guilty. Your brain jumps to the worst conclusion. Yeah, she's not interested. I get why you think that. Most men do, but here's the part. No one explains to you. Interest doesn't always look confident. Sometimes it looks like avoidance. I've watched this happen more times than I can count. A woman notices a man she's drawn to. Her attention drifts back to him without her meaning to. And the moment he notices, her instinct kicks in. She looks away. Not because she's bored, not because she's unimpressed, but because she just got caught caring. Here's the behavioral insight most men miss. Uncontrolled attention is the giveaway. If she truly didn't care, her gaze wouldn't linger long enough to need an escape. The look then dart happens when attraction collides with self-consciousness. It's her trying to regain composure. Now let's talk about what not to do, because this is where men quietly sabotage themselves. Many men either freeze or overcorrect. They stare harder, or they immediately look away and shrink. Both send the wrong signal. One feels intrusive, the other feels uncertain. The grounded response, the one that quietly works, is simple. Calm acknowledgement. When your eyes meet and she looks away, don't chase her gaze. Don't flinch either. Stay relaxed. If the moment naturally happens again, offer a soft smile. Nothing dramatic, no performance, just warmth. That's it. Why does this work? Because you're signaling safety and confidence without pressure. You're saying, I noticed you. I'm comfortable. You don't have to hide. That's powerful, especially to someone who's unsure whether her interest is welcome. Here's the mindset shift I want you to take with you. Attraction often shows up before courage does. Her behavior isn't a green light or a red flag, it's a clue. And confident men read clues instead of forcing conclusions. So the next time you catch that glance and dart, don't ask, does she like me? Ask instead, did she notice me before I noticed her? Because when that answer is yes, something else is usually happening quietly in the background. And that brings us to the next clue, how she keeps you talking without ever being the one to start the conversation. 2. The conversation bounce, how she secretly keeps your chat alive. Now let's say the conversation actually starts, nothing dramatic, just light talk, a comment, a question, a shared moment, and at some point, the exchange naturally slows down. That's normal. Conversations breathe. But here's where the signal appears. Just as things are about to fade, she throws something back to you. Maybe it's a follow-up question. Maybe she circles back to something you mentioned earlier. Maybe she adds a small detail that didn't need to be said, but keeps you engaged. This is what I call the conversation bounce. Here's why it matters. A woman who isn't interested lets conversations end cleanly. No friction, no effort, polite, but done. A woman who is interested subconsciously resists the ending. She doesn't always start the conversation, but she makes sure it doesn't die. I've watched women do this without even realizing it. They'll ask, "Wait, what did you say about that trip?" Or, "That reminds me," or even laugh and pause just long enough to invite you back in. This isn't accidental, it's emotional pacing. She's testing something very specific. If I give him a small opening, will he step into it calmly, or will he rush it? And this is where many men make their mistake. They either miss the bounce completely, or they jump too hard. They over-explain, they flood the moment, they turn a soft opening into pressure. The confident response is simpler. When she bounces the conversation back, match her energy, not exceed it. Stay present, stay relaxed, let the exchange flow. You don't need to impress her, you need to stay grounded. Ask one thoughtful question, share one relevant thought, then let it breathe again. Why does this work? Because you're showing emotional awareness. You're demonstrating that you can engage without clinging, and that's incredibly attractive. Here's the mindset shift I want you to lock in. Interest reveals itself through effort, not initiation. She doesn't need to chase you, she just needs to keep the door open. And when you recognize that, you stop waiting for obvious signs and start responding to real ones. So ask yourself this next time. Is she letting the conversation end, or is she quietly handing it back to you? Because when a woman does that consistently, there's usually another signal showing up right alongside it, one that's physical, unspoken, and almost impossible to fake. And that's where we're going next. 3. The proximity game. Her unconscious need to be near you. Let's slow this down and get very real for a moment. You're in the same space. Could be a room, a group setting, a workplace, a social hangout, and somehow, without announcing it, she keeps ending up near you, not on top of you, not obviously hovering, just closer than necessary. She chooses the chair next to yours instead of the empty one across the room. She drifts into your side of the group conversation. She adjusts her position so you're in her immediate orbit. That's not coincidence. That's comfort seeking. Here's the behavioral insight. When a woman is drawn to you, her body will often move before her mind gives permission. Proximity is one of the earliest, most honest signals of interest because it's hard to fake consistently. Now, here's the calm but necessary wake-up call. A lot of men misread this moment because they rush to claim the space instead of holding it. They lean in too fast. They invade her bubble. They assume closeness equals consent to escalate. And just like that, the signal disappears. Understand this. Her moving closer is not an invitation to overwhelm. It's an invitation to stay grounded. When she places herself near you, what she's really asking is, do I feel safe and seen here? The most attractive response is subtle confidence. You don't need to close the distance further. Let her own that choice. Keep your posture relaxed. Angle your body toward her slightly, but don't crowd her. Speak calmly. Stay present. Why does this matter so much? Because women are constantly tracking how men handle access. A man who can enjoy closeness without exploiting it communicates emotional control, and that builds trust fast. Now let me say something gently but clearly. Many men lose momentum here because they think attraction is about doing more. In reality, it's often about doing less, better. If she keeps choosing proximity over time, that's consistency. Consistency is the signal, not intensity. Here's the mindset shift I want you to adopt. If she keeps finding reasons to be near you, your job is not to escalate. It's to remain steady. Let her be the one who closes gaps. Let her set the pace. You respond by being solid, attentive, and unreactive. So the next time you notice her gravitating towards you, don't ask, "What should I do now?" Ask instead, "Can I stay relaxed enough for her to stay?" Because when a woman feels comfortable near you for long enough, something else almost always happens next. Something small, fleeting, and easy to dismiss if you're not paying attention. And that brings us to the signal most men miss entirely. 4. The accidental touch, the #1 body language signal. Most men miss. Let's talk about something small, almost invisible, and incredibly telling. You're mid-conversation, nothing intense, and then it happens. Her fingers brush your arm as she laughs. She lightly taps your shoulder to make a point. She adjusts something near you, and there's brief contact, just for a second, and immediately she pulls back. A lot of men either ignore this or overreact internally. They wonder, was that on purpose? Here's the answer, said calmly and clearly, yes, but it wasn't reckless. This is what I call the accidental touch. Here's the behavioral insight. Touch is one of the highest risk signals a woman gives when she's interested. It breaks the physical boundary, and most women don't do that casually unless they already feel a sense of safety and curiosity with you. The key detail isn't the touch itself, it's the timing and restraint. It happens during shared emotion, laughter, agreement, a warm moment, and it ends quickly. That quick withdrawal isn't rejection, it's self-regulation. Now, let's ground this before men make the common mistake. The wrong response is to immediately touch back, escalate, or comment on it. That turns a soft signal into pressure. The right response is calm normalization. You continue the conversation without flinching. You don't freeze. You don't chase the moment. You let it pass naturally. Why does this work? Because you're showing that you're comfortable with closeness, but not dependent on it. That's incredibly reassuring. It tells her she can test connection without losing control of the situation. Here's something most men don't realize. Women often use light touch to check emotional safety, not just attraction. She's asking, if I cross this line slightly, does he stay grounded or does he make it heavy? Your job is to keep it light. If touch begins to happen more than once, on different occasions, in different moments, that's not an accident anymore. That's pattern, and patterns matter more than isolated moments. Here's the mindset shift to lock in. A woman touches when she feels safe. She stays when she feels respected. So don't rush to define the moment. Let it breathe. Let it repeat. Let it build naturally. Because when a woman feels safe enough to initiate physical contact, even briefly, there's usually one more signal already happening around you. And this one isn't about her body at all. It's about who's watching and what they already know. 5. The friend factor. What her friends reveal before she ever does now. Let's zoom out for a second, because sometimes the clearest signal isn't coming from her at all. It's coming from the people around her. You walk into a space and notice her friends watching you. One of them smiles a little too knowingly. Another suddenly includes you in the conversation when you didn't even ask. Or they create an opening, stepping away, shifting seats, giving the two of you space. That's not random, that's coordination. Here's the behavioral insight. When a woman is interested, her friends often know before you do. Sometimes before she fully admits it to herself. And unlike her, they're not managing nerves, attraction, or self-control in real time. Friends act as mirrors and messengers. They test you. They observe how you show up. They quietly help or block access based on what they see. Now, here's where men tend to misread this completely. Some men perform. They try to impress the group. They become louder, funnier, or more dominant than necessary. Others do the opposite. They ignore the friends entirely and focus only on her. Both extremes work against you. The grounded response is social awareness. Acknowledge her friends with warmth. Be respectful. Be relaxed. You don't need approval, but you do need to signal that you're socially safe. Why does this matter so much? Because friends are protectors. If they sense pressure, ego, or unpredictability, they close ranks. But if they sense calm confidence, they subtly step aside. Watch for these cues. Friends making excuses to leave you two alone. Inside jokes that suddenly include you. Playful teasing directed at her about you. Those aren't coincidences. That's pre-approval. Here's the mindset shift I want you to take with you. If her friends are opening doors, she already wants you to walk through them. Your job isn't to rush. It's to move with awareness. Stay present. Stay respectful. Stay socially intelligent. Because when attraction has reached the point where it's visible to others, the connection is no longer just internal, it's becoming real. And now, with all 5 signals laid out, there's only one question left. What do you do with this awareness once you see it? Let me leave you with something that might sound controversial at first, but it's grounded in real behavior, not theory. If a woman genuinely likes you, you will never need to chase clarity. You only need to stop ignoring consistency. Most men don't miss signals because they're clueless. They miss them because they're waiting for permission to feel confident. A direct confession, a dramatic move, something undeniable. But attraction rarely works that way. Instead, it whispers through patterns. She notices you before you notice her. She keeps conversations alive without forcing them. She places herself near you. She finds small reasons to touch. Her friends already see what's forming. None of these mean rush. All of these mean stay grounded. And here's the part I really want you to hear, man to man, but from a woman who wants you to win. Your power isn't in doing more. It's in responding better. Calm confidence, emotional steadiness, social awareness. Those are the traits that turn interest into connection. If you've ever felt overlooked, confused, or one step behind, this isn't about fixing you. It's about trusting what you're already seeing and showing up without fear. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me, which of these signs have you experienced but ignored? Your story matters, and I do read them. I reach out. Remember this one line and carry it with you. Attraction grows where awareness meets patience.